You can fly, Christina.
Welcome to Special Auction Services. This is part one of the Austin Smith and Margaret Harkin antique doll collection, and it's probably the largest auction I've ever handled. And this is literally part one. There's part two, and there's also a third part going in our June sale as well. So I've been very busy. 385 lots here. Some extremely rare dolls. And beautiful dolls houses, all sorts of things.
Tell me a bit about Mr. Smith.
Yes, I can. I've known Mr. Smith, or Austin Smith, for about 30 odd years. He used to come to visit us at Christie's in South Kensington, and we didn't really know much about him. He was quite private. He used to buy and sell a bit, but didn't really know what. And he did some of the doll fairs as well. But he basically, he wasn't well last year, and I was called in by a relative to go and visit him, visit the collection, and I was just blown away. It was in this big house in the West Country, and I sort of, we had a chat downstairs, and there was a few dolls around, things being sort of tweaked and so forth, and then we went to the first room, and it was just this big room which had cabinets all the way around it full of like the best dolls, the wooden dolls and all the fashion dolls. He has over 50 fashion dolls.
Oh, goodness.
Him and his partner Margaret were collecting for 75 years. And they first started collecting when they went to a local, estate auction.
Right.
And they found an old broken doll, and that sort of caught their imagination, and then they started collecting. And this was it. And then so we saw the first room, and then there was I think the next room, there was a corridor full of small cabinets with house dolls in, and then we came across a room which was done up like a nursery, which were all big life-size dolls. And then the next room was the doll's house room, and then there was a room of automata, and there was another big room of dolls, and then there was another big room of dolls. And so they're just like, it was unbelievable, really. So we haven't counted them yet, but I think there's well over 1,000 dolls. But if you think about all the doll's house bits and pieces, it's many objects.
Yeah.
So I'm still unpacking.
So still lots more surprises.
Yes, there's lots more surprises to come, and it's just some wonderful, wonderful things. Great.
So can you tell me a little bit about the ones you have here?
Yeah, we've just pulled out some of the highlights or my favourites. He starts off with early English wooden dolls, and he also has German wooden dolls, lots of little Grobner tiles and that sort of thing. But this is one of my favourites. This is a English wood, all original, from about 1745, 1750, and just the most amazing dress. But this is slightly different to what we normally see, because her dress is nailed on. Whereas a lot of the dolls, the more, I guess they would have been more expensive at the time, they were designed to be undressed and played with. So this is all, wonderful. And what's particularly great about her is, it's quite hard to show you, but this skirt is just lined with paper, but her petticoat is lined with an old broadsheet, which is a type of newspaper, and it's all a bit torn and a bit crumpled, but I've been sort of flattening it out and trying to read what it's all about. And firstly, there's a date on it of 1740, so that gives us quite a good dating.
Yes.
But they would have used that old newspaper for the year, a while afterwards. But it's all about a mother and a daughter who murdered the maid. Excuse me, and were hung for it. So that's really fascinating to have that. Sorry. Always happens, doesn't it? Then this is I shouldn't have shown you that face first. So this is another one of my favourites.
Yes, it's one of mine too.
Little Red Riding Hood. It's one of these three-faced dolls. And so there's little Red Riding Hood. Sadly, she's got a crack down her face. But then she becomes the grandmother, and then scariest of all, she then becomes the wolf. Which, this is incredibly rare, but I don't. You can imagine them not selling too many of them.
Yes,
it would probably traumatise many.
Most children. Yeah.
And then this lovely little brew. It's his Mr. Smith's only brew. So I've pulled her socks down. I didn't put them back up again. That's not very good.
No.
There's a lovely little brew there. Very
It's a
pretty.
lovely size, yeah.
That's one of his most valuable bebes. And I love this chap. He's got a really beautiful face, I think. That's a
Yes.
Gautier. And
Not
this was one of Kay Early's. Is it Kay Early? In this little box of tricks. Oh yes, Mrs. Kay Early. Alice Kay Early, that's right. She was she wrote a lot of some early books and an early collector, so that's was part of her collection originally. And then another one I love, this other boy, is an SFBJ Googly. There's quite a few googly-eyed dolls in the sale. But as you can see, we've got bebes, a long row of bebes here, and then we've got fashion dolls. These are German bebes. Germany looking thing, and then character dolls, lots of automaton. So all the early stuff, all of the early bits of textile and wooden dolls and papier-mâché dolls, lots of miniatures, and then we go to dolls' houses, china heads, Parians or bisque-headed dolls, you name it, it's got it in it. And this part, we've estimated about 180 to 250, this part. But I think the whole collection is going to hopefully make about 500,000, so eventually. So part 2 is in April, part 3 in June.
Excellent. So just tell me a bit about this one here.
Well, this another one of, I think, your favourites as well.
It is, yes.
She's an AM 400. But I think she's just so nicely presented. She's dressed as a little flapper, and she's got those she's got the flapper knee joint, which means the joint is above the knee. And I mean, I don't know whether this is original, but it's certainly very good, isn't it? That sort of proper 1920s beaded dress, and she's got the closed mouth, which is nice, and then she's got a sister over there, which is very similar, but that's got an open mouth. So this is kind of just got that really lovely look. And she's part of my. See, there's a big doll's house behind the cameraman, and all the dolls on there are having a party on the roof, which I rather liked.
We'll have a look at that in a minute. Yeah. Oh, gosh. It's slightly overwhelming, like I was saying to you. When you look in the catalogue and you think, oh yeah, like that. When you come here and you suddenly, there's so much more when you actually come here and see.
Yes, it's always nice to come and see, I think, because
definitely.
I buy a little bit online or at auction and so forth, and even though it's got measurements in, you never quite in your head compute exactly what size it is, so everything seems to come bigger or smaller when you think it is, and then you never know what's going to appeal to you, because your eyes will be drawn in another way, but it's just having it all out and actually coming to a view like this is great because you can handle things which are basically museum quality, so most of the time you have to peer through cabinets at them. But here you can actually touch them.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Carefully.
Carefully, yes. Yes, and you're right. I mean, I've been drawn here to things that I didn't think I would be drawn to from the catalogue, and things that I thought I really liked in the catalogue, I'm not as sure about.
I agree, yes.
It's definitely worth coming.
Well, yes, I mean, I've lived with them quite a while now, so I kind of very familiar with them, but still, you sort of I kind of think, which is my favourite, and you sort of change your mind as time goes by as well, but... Anyway, there's plenty here, and then there's part 2 and part 3, so there's always going to be something around the corner.
Yes. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
I know it's going to be great. If I'm not here, I'm going to be online.
Good. Yeah, no, I think it should be okay. I'm slightly, it's quite a lot to take on, and slight anxiety, dreams about it, but hopefully it'll be all right. And every time someone comes, and most people who have visited have just been blown away by it. So I think it's certainly the best auction that's been in this country for many years, and maybe it's the last great doll collection out there, that's in this country. Sadly, everything seems to be disappearing over the waters, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. Okay.
Well, if you come over to here, this is kind of the early corner, early dolls with a little bit of automata thrown in. So we've got some of the early bits and the woodens, and one of the woods we just saw, and then we've got these two wonderful Perotti waxes of Edward the Seventh and Queen Alexandra in all their coronation robes, and he was obviously the next king after Queen Victoria. So they must be after 1901, 1902, but probably quite soon after. And actually, they're almost exhibition-y, I think, rather than, they wouldn't have been a toy.
No.
And they come in their original box, and they've got lots of little bits and pieces with them. And they're just amazing, I think, and a great survival. And I think I've seen a few on catalogues and so these are quite a big size for them. But this is wonderful. This is all this embroidery. You've got the thistle and the shamrock and the English rose and all that sort of thing. They're great, very topical in recent times, I guess, aren't they? And yeah, so this is the early woods and some of the papier-mâchés. This is the other wood, which is a bit of a star. This is Peggy. So would have been a much more expensive doll when she was made. She's better carved, and you can remove her clothes if you wish to do so. And she's got these wonderful long fingers, which I love on them. She's legless, sadly. But people are very good at making legs for this sort of thing. And this is all of her provenance. So she was bought from Sotheby's, I guess way back in the 70s or something like that, for £1,250.
Gosh.
And she was bought by she was bought by Kay Desmond. And yes, there's a little bit of history about her, and it's quite hard to do, of the original letter and dating, but we think she's about 1765, that sort of date. And she may look rather brazen because she's got her chest out, but she should have a bit of this material going across there to hide that. And this lovely big Grove Natal,
which is a good sign,
with her painted hem here. That's very unusual to get those. And this is wonderful. This is an English papier-mâché by a wooden doll maker. She's got the dotted eyelashes and eyebrows. So yeah, and this is a German wood again. She's about early 19th century, 1810-20s. Another one of my favourites is this one. I love this. This is a papier-mâché boy. I love his outfit.
It's a gorgeous
Very
outfit.
fond of him.
And this one here?
Well, this is a French papier-mâché. There's more, for the French market. They're known as the Paulines, and this is the start of the French fashion doll sort of history. You start with this. They're often German heads, but then put on French kid bodies. This is all original, with a wig, and then that sort of progresses into the world of fashion dolls later on. But then we have all these lovely little bits in these cabinets here. This is great. This is a beautiful china shoulder head, all original. And it is given to Elizabeth Sprague, don't know how you say that, by Princess Royal, the Empress Frederick, when both were children in the 1840s and 1850s. But what's so lovely, she's pink tinted, which is rare, but her outfit is just something else. It's all this coat, this sort of cloak coat is beautiful. In an original box. This is another little chap I love. This is like quite an earliest boy wax doll in original clothes, and he is, if you excuse me, if we pull his trousers down, you might have to get quite close, but he's actually anatomically correct. He's got his little what do you call his little friend there, which is lovely. And then I don't know if you can see this in here, another one of my favourite lots. This is this beautiful sort of diorama in this box, which is probably quite dark from you, but you can see it all online. And there's got these two beautiful pink tinted china shoulder heads on wooden bodies. So jointed wooden bodies with china limbs, and one of the girl in the back's got the loop here with the ear exposed, which is rare. All original clothes, but then it's just set in this most amazing scene where you've got like a velvet two-dimensional dog. There's a some sort of deer there. There's peacocks and other birds with real feathers on. And it's just so lovely. Lots of people want this.
Yeah.
It's going to go high, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And there's 2 more really lovely papier-mâchés here. I love her. Look at all that, all original. The most amazing hair.
Gosh.
I really love her too. It's kind of, every way you turn, you think I want to take that home.
Well, that's the thing that I was going to say to you, is that, like I said, when I looked at the catalogue, there was things that I'd marked out that I liked, but coming here suddenly, there's another thing I like, another thing. Everything is now my favourite.
This I love as well. It's dressed as a soldier. This is the papier-mâché. Those long legs. And it's amazing. All original.
Yes.
It's so precious, things like that. So.
There are so many all originals.
Yeah, and it's got all these little godnatars. All the pink tinted chinas are here. This has got a lot of interest as well. It's not quite dolly, but this is a beautiful little miniature sampler. And it says, "Mayst thou live happy in conjugal felicity." 1798. People love miniature samplers. That will go really high.
That will.
And this is so nice as well. This is a little envelope which has been embroidered, but it still has the paper on. So they used to draw the pattern on paper, put the paper on the silk, then embroider over the pattern, and then take the paper away.
Right.
So it's still got the paper on, and it's got the most lovely little note inside. Margaret Williams, September the 3rd, 1787, and it's a list of things. 1 smelling bottle, 1 little perfume, 1 silver measure, 1 dull box iron, 1 silver funnel, and 1 or something like that. Can't read that. It's just so sweet to have that. All little bits like that are in the cell, So you imagine collecting all those years. Yes. You just spirit these things away, and here they all are.
Yeah. Shall we have a look at the cabinet and the?
Yeah, why not? Let's go and have a look. There's so much to look at.
Actually, we could have a look at the automaton before we go.
Yes. Well, you won't get much of that. Well, this one works.
Does it?
Kind of all the automaton needs a bit of a tweak.
Get Terry in.
Is he good at them?
Yes.
So, there was, as I said, there was this room of automaton. There's only a fraction of them here, and automata don't travel very well. So you generally have to, give them a service, get someone when you buy them. They're like clocks, really. And they're clockwork mechanisms. But this one works. She's rather lovely. There she is reclining on her daybed, which is kind of where I feel like being now. And she sort of doesn't do a great deal. Reclines. That's case the vapours, I think. And lies back down again. But this is all original, all these clothes. Which is so nice, it's so important that's what a lot of the things are in their original clothes.
Yeah.
And we haven't really looked at the fashions at all. To get original clothes with fashions is so lovely.
It is.
And to have them all, even if they might be in a bit distressed state, they need, some of them do need a bit of restoration. But it's just nice to have all that. So we've got this lovely lady at her dressing table.
That's the one I was looking at her earlier. It's gorgeous.
And there's a few more here. Up here, it's got the clown doing his ring tricks. There's a young girl in her bath, wearing a little bathing costume. Drummer boy, I think he still goes. Oh, let's stop him and start. Doesn't do a great deal. I think he's meant to have a little horn in his other hand.
There we go.
And the head should go, but it's disconnected. A walking one, here we go, waving at you, walking, playing the guitar, and this one's knitting.
So what does the lady at the dressing table do then?
Well, she just sort of looks herself in the mirror and powders her face and turns her head from side to side. Yeah, she's rather lovely.
She is lovely.
She's, you know, a rare thing to have. So, you want to quickly do something in the other cabinet?
Yeah.
I don't know, find the key. What have I done with the keys? Oh. We have some lovely things in this cabinet.
There's a little bit in the middle that says download. You have done that.
All sorts of little things in here. Gives a bit of a mixture. This is beautiful. This is a
little
sewing
line that says that
doll.
click here to
So she's got
download.
all her sort
And
of
then that downloads.
pin cushions, cotton reels,
Have you done that bit?
lovely thimble. Isn't that beautiful?
No, it's
beautiful.
That's,
so there's
sort of
the letter
80s,
that they send you saying
70s, I would say, something like that. This is one of my
And then there's a
favourites.
little line that says
Oh,
click,
yes.
and
This is
click
Miss
there
Piper,
to download it.
and she's made from an old clay
You should be
pipe.
able to see it.
All original, and this is printed, so that, you know, this should have been sold like this. She wouldn't have been made at you know, by an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about sewing
What's your
on
address?
shoe buttons. So she's got a bag of shoe buttons,
Right.
What's your
and
address?
then obviously she's a pin cushion. So she's there in case you lose a button off your shoe,
No, your address.
and she'll be there for you to
Address.
sew it on.
Okay, right. I'm just
This
trying to
is
see what
adorable.
they've sent you.
This is a little
The post sale
sweet
there.
box.
Let me look at that.
Oh.
cute
That
little
says your
cradle.
personal
Isn't that
advice.
gorgeous? It'd be lovely in a
Click
doll's
here. We are
house.
pleased to
It
provide
would.
you your personal
Um,
advice.
We've got a selection of
That's an old
clowns
one,
and
that's
minstrels.
an old one.
These two are French heads,
Uh-huh.
quite rare French heads,
That
and
is
then you've
old.
got
That one.
various
Don't
clowns. A
think
lovely
it's
Santa
recently.
Claus with a bisque face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
This is a
Look at
candy
the one that's
container,
about
an
600.
angel.
Okay.
Um,
Can we look in the payments then?
all sorts of little things, and this is
Oh, yes.
3 little dolls' house dolls
Mm-hmm.
representing Queens of England. So it's Alexandra,
The
Queen
Popular
Victoria,
Digest, it's that
and
one.
we
That
don't
was
know quite who the
600.
third one is because it's ER.
£640.
Right.
And I mean that works for the Queen Mother, which
Right,
is Elizabeth. So
Gina
it's a bit
sends them, but they
she
come
was
from
1938
just the system.
afterwards, wasn't she?
She was, yeah.
So it's a bit.
So
This seems
the
earlier.
first
So
in
we're
the
not. That's a bit
middle,
of a mystery.
we've got
Mhm.
the
So if anyone can
beautiful
solve that, that would be
post
great.
advice, and then
Rather
underneath
lovely
you've got click
hand
to
stitched
download.
doll.
Yes.
And you should be able to just click that.
I was
It's
looking
not
out
small.
for cloth, and that's.
Yes,
The
isn't that
license
lovely?
is
She is
on
lovely.
here, so I don't know where
That's
it might
very
be how you
nice.
set up.
And there's even
on
it's
your
not her, or we don't think, but it's just
And then
it's a lovely tin. This photograph on tin,
Mm-hmm.
which is 2 ladies dressed in a very
Yeah.
similar style. Just goes nice to have, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, and this is a bit of a mystery. I want this solved. This is a beautiful beadwork bed, doll's house bed. Can't decide whether it's Native American Indian or very early English. Or actually, someone suggested
Yeah.
Indian, you know, as
Oh.
in so
okay.
Asian Indian.
Asian, yes.
So a mystery, but I think that's going to do well. I
That-
think
I
'cause
think
we've got
so.
2 chairs with it. Could be very old, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got all sorts of things like these lovely
Oh,
squeak marottes and so forth. And this one's lovely. Nice, all original.
So there's, yeah, so there's,
oh.
so there's 6.
Isn't that really good? You know,
That
with
is
original silks and stuff. You often see them redressed. And I don't know if your cameraman can get all the way down there. There's a really lovely tin carriage here with a beautiful lady. A little disc-headed. Look, isn't she beautiful with this lustre plume,
Mm.
feather plume, and this moulded hat with blue ribbon. And then she's got her gentleman holding the horses for her.
Unless you haven't asked for
Coachman.
them again or anything.
You have to buy them all separately. I've just set them up like that.
Unless I don't know. Unless
So yeah, that's a lovely
On there,
selection.
the sale date was the 21st of
Let's just
November.
shut. You come into this, Christine, you're particularly fond of this.
I am.
I think she's the Lucy Peck
And
wax.
resend that
Isn't she so very
on the
ethereal
25th.
about her eyes and the hair? But
But
she's got the most beautiful original clothes.
Sale
And you spin
was
around.
the
Look at this on a
31st of
train with this,
October.
all this beautiful velvet printed with roses.
Then before that,
And look at the original colour of her dress.
the 19th of October.
She needs a little bit of conservation, but she's really beautiful.
You've had 3 sales. There was the 21st of September, the 19th of
Should have all
October,
been
and then
brilliant
the
pink
30th of
originally, wouldn't
October.
it? She has had a repair. Look, you see there's an old repair.
basically the way
Yeah.
we kind of play is
But I
we
don't
do
think
about
it really
400
matters,
watts
does
an
it,
hour.
particularly?
Sorry,
No.
not 400.
Fragile stuff
We do
wax.
100
Yeah.
watts an hour.
It is.
Happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Good wax collection would be, there's lots of it all around the waxes. There's another whole cabinet full of them.
is there, where's the
The cabinet, all the waxes in here.
Oh, in here as
No,
well?
no, this one.
No, I was
This is
gonna
the
say.
wax, all in here.
Oh, in here. Ah, right. Oh gosh, yes. Yes.
This one, this one doesn't have it, and I love this one. It's a bit knackered. It's got a bit mouthy and so forth. But look at that dress on that. Isn't that extraordinary?
That is.
I adore this. It needs to be cleaned
Yeah.
and preserved a bit. And this one is lovely. This is like a really small size poured wax. And look at the shoes on that.
Gorgeous, yes.
All original. Extraordinary, isn't she?
She is.
There's just so much. And
Yeah.
then these are just one of the Perottis. That one of them has got like Hamley's labels on the clothes that I've never seen. It's in the
Oh.
catalogue. It might be that one. But, I've photographed
just-
the catalogue as well.
Have a look.
Now you've seen them, you
Yeah.
can then go look at the
Go look at
catalogue.
them.
David.
Yeah. So what about that one over? And then she's got some damage, hasn't she?
She's amazing.
She's
so big. But what's happened is that she's been hot somewhere.
okay.
And so the wax has seeped into the clothes bit. So this is solid here.
Oh gosh, yes it is.
So I haven't undressed her
Uh-huh.
because I couldn't. But I reckon you could undress her, and then this would soak in a cold water slowly. Get that to unstiffen that. But look at this outfit.
She is another of my favourites. Yeah.
Eyebrows. It's a bit spooky in a way because she's got sort of got a bit deathly coloured.
Yeah.
Was there some coins coming from Jerome?
I love what she's saying
Jerome,
as well.
yeah. Last Wednesday, as they were ringing our house.
You can
about-
buy the whole
Was I
caboodle.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got the space.
I've got loads of space in my house. Yeah.
I wasn't here.
I've had a lovely visit here today at Special Auction Services with Dan, looking at the Austin Smith and Margaret Harkin collection of dolls. There is most definitely something for everyone here, and I strongly recommend that you do come and view, because when I looked at the catalogue, I found several things that I marked off and thought yes, but having come here, there are just so many things that have suddenly become my favourite doll. I really don't know where to start. There is just, the Lucy Peck is one of my favourites. We've got Little Red Riding Hood. There's the Woodens. There's just too much to take in one go. If I could, I'd stay here tonight and look again tomorrow and the next day. So, if you can get here, please do come and view. It's really well worth it.